first day on ETL testing tutorials. And before moving on to the concept, see, this is the complete content which I'm going to cover in our training. It's listed till 24th day, but it's approx 24 days. Okay, it can be more than 24 days also. And before moving on to the topics which are very logical and specific to ETL or BI only, I want to discuss some of the frequently asked questions which people generally ask me. Before moving on to the course, I want to discuss these first. So what will be the course duration? It's approx 25 to 30 hours, means 6 weeks approx. And what all will be covered? See, it's ETL, and within this we need the basics of database also, and I'm going to use SQL Server as my database and Oracle. So these both things will surely be covered. And other than these, like the format of file in which we can store our data, in which our source can be present, and the tool which is informatica, I'm going to cover. There are many tools of ETL which are available in the market, and informatica is freely available. I'm going to work on this one. And the reporting as well. Yeah, reporting I'm also going to cover. So for the reporting, I'm going to use Cognos, which is the product by IBM, and Tableau. These both are the freely available in the market. Okay, so I'm going to use these two for reporting, and informatica for my ETL as my ETL.
Informatica is free tool?
Yeah, it's a commercial tool actually. The part of this is freely available, and the part of that is a paid one. So we are going to cover on informatica. And within this, the freely available part we completely cover out of that. Okay, so half of this is free and half of this is paid. This is the product by Oracle also. And is it necessary to learn SQL? Yeah, surely SQL is required. If you don't know the basics, how we can fire the query in SQL within SQL Server, so we can't proceed further. If you don't know what is the column, what is the entity, what is the type of data, then we can't move on. So all these things I'm going to cover within the very starting days of our ETL course, because the rest of the videos, rest of the training will be on ETL only, but the starting I'll start with the database as SQL. Okay, because SQL is must.
Any Unix concept you're going to cover?
Any unique concepts other than ETL?
No. Oh, Unix.
Unix. Oh no, we are going to work on it's Windows only. On Windows platform, I'll work on informatica. Okay, Unix will not be covered.
Okay.
Will we work on project? Yeah, surely. We are going to work on Northwind database if I'll work on the SQL Server, and when I'll work on Oracle, then HR is the user, which is inbuilt present within Oracle. So I'm going to work on HR. Okay, all the things which I can do with the help of within that Oracle as an HR user, I'm going to cover with ETL. Will we get the link of recorded session every day? Yes, surely I do record each and every session, and you'll get the link of recorded session. If you miss anything, then you're able to cover. Like suppose if you're not able to attend the complete session, I'll stop, because this is one-to-one training. But if we have a complete batch, then if anything is missing, then you can cop up with that, the topics which are left. Okay, and can we rejoin the live session? Yes, you can join the live session again the next time whenever batch starts. Whenever batch starts, you can join. I'm going to help in the interview questions, the calls which you'll get, the opportunities. Yeah, surely I'm going to help. If you have any technical issues, and if you have any question related to the ETL or other than ETL which is present within BI, I'm going to help you. What is the scope of ETL testing? Yeah, there are many tools available in the market for ETL, so it's a very demand. It's going to help you a lot. Clients and sessions. See, maybe I don't know about your background. You are from testing, you are from development, you are from which side, or you are here for the projects only. You want your help in project only. But I'm going to start from the very basic thing, and I'm going to move on to the last. Okay. And will I help you in project? Yeah, surely I'll guide you in your project. And what are the things which you must know before moving on to the course? It's only the basics of SQL. How SQL looks, how SQL works, what are tables, what are databases, and what are the columns. Any other question you have other than these are? You can ask me. Or I'll move on to the content for the evening. Any question?
If the company, the organization will give me to work on the Unix environment, so what can I do?
Unix environment if they provide. Okay.
Yes.
See, informatica, if I'm going to teach you, as I'm saying, we are going to cover informatica. So the way informatica works is going to remain same. Like I'm going to work on Windows, I'll just search for informatica, it will be open like this. Only the thing is you must know how it can be opened, because within Unix it's a command prompt through which all the commands run. This is the only difference. The rest of the things is going to remain same. Okay? So only the SQL server which I'm going to use, I'll show you once. It's SQL Server Management Studio. If I open, the way it works, it's same. But the thing is, the platform is different. Only it is going to work on Windows. That's it. For my case, and if the company provide Unix, then only the environment where it is going to work is different. The way it is going to work is going to remain same. Okay? So shall I move on to the contents of the for the today? Okay. So I'll start with all these topics. The very basic and the very first one is listed in the presentation over here. So within BI, see it is a BI training, not exactly the ETL. So within BI, it's a business intelligence. Within BI, I'm going to cover ETL as well as the reporting. Both of the things I'm going to cover within BI. So what is BI? You must know what is BI. Just a minute. So BI is nothing but the business intelligence. As I told you, it's intelligence out of the business data. So what is intelligence and what is business data? The data which you have for any of the enterprise or any of the business, it is not necessary for a big enterprise only. It can be a very small enterprise or it can be a very small business also. So the complete data you have for your business, for your company, and you want to get the intelligence out of that. So what is intelligence? Intelligence means the in last what you are getting. Like you can say you are working in any of the business, in many of the business environment, the complete content is there. All the data which you have within the business, within that company is present. And out of all these, you want to know how many sales are there for any of the particular year. It's 2017. You want to get in a very detail what all are the sales of July month in 2016. So that is something which is the intelligence. You want to know how many employees are there within any of the any one of the source. Say if you are saying that you want to get in the details of all the employees who are working in sales, all the employees who are working as a developer. So that is nothing but the intelligence out of that complete data. The complete data, this is only the content you have. And out of this, all the questions which are arising in your mind, how you can get the answer out of that is nothing but the intelligence. The data is also there. You are getting the answers of your question, this BI. There are many ways how to get the answers, how to create the content from which you can get the answers. That all things we are going to cover. This is about BI. A very simple statement in the very layman terms I am speaking right now. What is ETL? BI consists of ETL, right? So this BI consists of ETL and reporting, as I told you. So what is ETL? ETL consists of three parts: extraction, transformation, and loading. These three makes one ETL. These three makes one part of BI itself. Okay, and the second part of BI is the reporting. So what is reporting? Reporting is nothing but the analysis which I am going to work on, which the data which I just collected out of that ETL tool. After working on my BI, what all things I get? As I'm saying, BI consists of these two things. This part and this part. See, and the very first part of BI is ETL. And if I say what ETL is going to do, ETL is going to extract something. We'll work in very detail for that. Transform and load. After working on ETL, what thing I get? I just get a data. And that data is nothing but the collected data. Okay. And this is what I'm getting from the ETL. And analysis which I can perform. The analysis means, now what is the meaning of analysis? I want to know the same thing which I explained here. The person wants to know what are the total sales of any of the product in any of the particular year. That thing can be done with the help of analysis only. So for that, to get in detail of all these things, we must have the collected data, and that data I'm going to get with the help of ETL process only. This is what BI means. See, two processes, ETL plus reporting makes BI. And what is BI? If I add the terms, if I add the functionality of both, it will make one BI. Okay? This is just the introductory part of BI, ETL and reporting. Now, the jargons which you found when you are working on BI, if you take any one of the words, say if you are working on ETL only, you will get many jargons inside that. If you start working on reporting only, you will get many jargons inside that. So I have just listed some of the jargons. The database. So what is database? What is data warehouse? What is ETL process? These two I explained a bit. Then data cubes, data marts, OLAP, OLTP, these all things I'll explain in my session. Okay? So just look at this diagram. These are what? The sources. These are what? The sum of the staging area after ETL. This thing I just explained. Extraction, transformation and loading. As I told you, this thing will work in a very detail. Then something I am getting after performing ETL, the thing which I am getting is data warehouse. And out of data warehouse, I am getting data marts. Okay, so data marts are what? This is this. Data marts are part of data warehouse, a small part of data warehouse. And out of data warehouse, what I'm getting, see here, it's a report. So ETL and report I explained a bit, and the rest of the things are left to explain. Okay, just the overview of the things which actually happens on the back end, or you can say in the front end only, because these are the only things which I'm explaining and which I'll explain. Okay, so the very first thing within the list of jargons is the database. So let's discuss about database. What is database? In a very layman terms, what do you think? What is database? How you can define the database? If someone asks you what is database, Sudhanshu, how you can define database?
How I can define database?
Yes, what is database?
Database, it's nothing but it's a collection of organized data in any particular organization. It's a collection of organized data in a raw data to proper that information.
So what I can say in a simple terms, database is nothing but the collection of data. As I told, it's a collection of data. That's it. Okay, but in which format? As you are saying, for one company, for any organization, it can be raw data, or it can be data which I'm getting after performing any of the operation, which is correct. So database is nothing but something which is present on the back end. If this is my company, then if I'm working in any company, then database is present not for the all users, right? If we have a list of 1,000 users, then for each and every user, database is not accessible. But the detail of each and every user is actually stored within that database, right? So for the end, this is the front end, this is the back end, and this is the user, the list of all users. So for each and every user, information is stored in the backend. That backend is nothing but the database only. Okay, so this is the very in simple terms how I can define database. It's this one. Now what is command? What is a query? What is command? If I'm saying I'm working in my database, my data is placed in the database. So this is the backend, and this is my company's profile. So this is my front end. This is my front end, and this is my backend. So if I want to update something, if I want to store something, if I want to retrieve something, if I want even to store, if even a single storage query can be done, can be filed using a command. I want to update something that I have 100 users. I just want to update that 100 to 1000. That thing, how can I do? We need a command, we need a query for that, and a single query, what we can call it as, command. So changes, updation I can do using a command by running a command. Okay, so database and query is done. Now, what all are the levels present within the different languages we have? If I'm working in the database, then we have multiple levels. Okay, we have multiple levels within which I can run a query, and that levels are here. Three levels we have: DTL, DML, and DCL. The very first level is definition of database. So here I'm using the word definition. So what do you mean by definition? Means I want to define my database. I want to define my database. That I have, like, if I want to create a new database, so query related to the creation of databases comes under definition, comes under DTL command only. And if I say manipulation within database, now read here, it is within database. So commands which I'm going to fire, the queries which I'm going to run for the data available within database is my DML. This is my database manipulation language. I want to manipulate, I want to change something which is present within database. Okay, so now DCL, the last one is DCL, database control. This is to control the database, to control the access, how one can access. If I'm saying we have a big list of database, if I'm saying we have a big list of users, how they can access the values, how they can have access to the database, to the that tables, that can be decided with the help of DCL commands only. That is database control languages which comes under DCL. Okay, so these three are for the queries which I can fire on my database. First one is to the database level, second one is to the within the database level, and the third one is how we want to provide the control to the content within database. Okay, so these are the levels. Now again, very basic things. What is table, what is and what is columns? So what is table? If I'm saying I'm working with any of the database of any of the organized company, then within database multiple entities can be present, and that entities we define with table only. Okay, so single entity within database we can define it as my table. Okay. And within table we can have multiple columns. Multiple columns means multiple way to store the data, and that is called as column. So single entity within table is column, and single entity within database is my table only. So what is data type? Data type is what? The type of data which can fit within my table, within my any of the column of the table, and within the it can be of how many types of data we have. We can have integer data type, we can have the type as character, we can have the type as decimal, float, boolean means true, false, only two values. So these are the very basic things. I'm not going to tell you how integer works, what is the limit of integer values, but this is just one of the type. I hope you know about this. Okay, so next one is the constraint. The things which I'm explaining is for the database only, the basics of very basic of database only. Next of the topics will be for the ETL, informatica, reporting. Okay, so what are the constraints? Constraints are what? Constraints are the conditions.
It's the conditions. Cool.
Yes, the conditions and the restrictions which we can apply on the column of a table. So table comes under, so here comes a hierarchy. See, then I think now it will be more clear to you. So the thing which I'm explaining you is, for any company which have the company means here I'll keep it as front end only. For any company, we have back end also, and that is database. So database is what? Database is my back end with which user can't interact directly, but this data of that user is actually stored within that database only. So within database we have multiple tables. We can have multiple tables, and within each and every table we can have multiple columns. Okay, and the thing which I'm explaining you now about the constraint, it is applied on the columns only. So multiple columns will make one table, and multiple table will make one database, and that database is concerned with your any of the organized company which have its front end also. So database is nothing but just working as my backend for any of the organized or for any of the organization. So can you understand the hierarchy? It's the thing which I'm explaining you. Any doubt?
No.
Okay, so constraints, data types are concerned with columns, and the multiple columns will make tables, and this is the way it works. So these are the very basic things which you must know before moving on to data warehouse, before moving on to ETL.
Yeah.
Now the next thing is about the data warehouse. Okay, so we are done with how my database looks, right? How my database looks, where it is placed. Now where comes the existence of data warehouse? Where we need data warehouse? Everything is correct. We are able to store our data. We are able to store our company's data within database. So where we need data warehouse? What do you think? The database is enough for the storage?
No. We need data warehouse because we need to keep all those historical data to take any business decisions. So we need the data warehouse for that reason, for historical data.
Okay. So what I can say, database is for what? Database is for the storage of my current data, my up-to-date data, my new data, right? So the complete details of the user, as I said, if I have multiple users, the details are going to be stored within the database only, which is correct. But now the thing is, what if the name of the user, if that person changes phone number? So that updated data is stored within the database, because database can only store one data, the recent one, the up-to-date data. Okay. But we don't need this. This is not going to help us a lot, because say if company wants the details of all the users from past 10 years, that person have updated its phone number. So within database, the new number is stored. But before changing its number, that person to have some other number. So that number must also be stored at some location, at some place. This is for the phone number only. There might be a case that person have changed its account details. Okay, that is important, which that company must know if company is demanding for the details of all the employees. So that thing, this is the issue with the database, because within database we can store only the current data. The new data is stored. But what about the historical data? That person have just changed its account details or its phone number. For that kind of storage, for the storage of the historical data, we need data warehouse. It's not only historical data, plus the current data as well as the historical data. Okay, so how I can define the data warehouse now? It is a process of transforming data into valuable information. What is the meaning of this line? My data is getting transformed into a valuable information, because now I have the details of each and every user. If that person have just deleted its account, if that person have just changed its detail of its account or its phone number or its home address. So that all things are actually all these things will make the information as my valuable information, which I can use because it consists of the current data as well as the historical data. Okay, before moving on to this, it's about data warehouse and the reports. I think it's also very simple to understand now. It's just that the decisions if one person wants to make, that person can make with the help of reports only. What do you mean by decisions? The same thing if I explain the example of my database for any company. If company wants to know how many employees are there in 2016, in 2015, what is the hike of their salary, how many people left the job in 2016 in any of the particular month. So how that person, how the organization can do this thing? That thing can be done on the collected data only, right? That collected data means what? Now the collected data means the historical data. This is the very first example. If that company wants to know how many employees left the company in any of the particular month, so why they left? Why they left the company? What is the reason? 100 people left in 2016 and 20 people left in 2015. What is the reason for that? There might be reason of salary, or there can be the reason of the um, opportunities which they are getting within the company. This is the first example. Or maybe company wants to know sales of any product in any of the particular month. Okay,
Yeah.
so that all things can be done with the help of data warehouse, and that data warehouse is coming from the database, the current details of the data plus the historical data. Okay, so on these two, reporting is actually performed. So that decisions I can take, like which product to have the maximum sale in any of the particular month. That thing can be explained on the basis of reports, on the basis of the analysis, which the end user, which the user who is working on the reports, which the person who is working in the company to look into all these reports can make it. Okay, so read this line. Get the knowledge out of the information present in the data warehouse is the reporting. This is the thing which we do need for the reporting process only. We need to know what is the reason for any of the thing, like sales are, if we have more sales, if we have less sales, if more people are leaving the company, what is the reason for that? Okay, so this diagram actually explains everything. We have data for our organization. We have the data on our data. We make it information by performing ETL. Data we have for our company, that is raw data. As you just said, within database we have raw data. Within raw data, on the raw data we perform ETL process, right? And on ETL process, on just operating the ETL process, we make the data warehouse, and on the data warehouse we can work and get the reports out of that. And that is nothing but the knowledge on the reports, knowledge on the data which we have just collected, knowledge on the information is by reporting. Okay, the things which I'm explaining is again just the overview of all the things which we can work, which we are going to see. Okay, so now what all are the terms which we get, the basic terms, like the things which we get within database we must know, the things which we must know before moving on to the database. It's same things we must know if we are working in data warehouses, the data sources. So what is data sources? What are the data sources?
So like the database from where we can get the data. That is the source.
Not only database. The data source can be a text file. The data source can be Excel sheet. The data source can be .csv file, that is comma separated file. Okay, so data source is not only the database. This is not always the case that the complete data of any organization is stored within database only. That company may store its data within any of the text files. It's complex to understand that why any company can store its complete data within text file, but maybe that company is storing the data for the all complete sales. The complete sales are getting stored with the text file. The details of complete products, the complete products which company have are storing, that company is storing the details of the complete product within Excel sheet. It's .xlsx. So these all are the files which can be your data sources, not only the databases. Okay? So initial storage of the data can be database, it can be a text file, it can be Excel sheet, it can be .csv file, it can be .out file. Okay? So all of these sources, all of the files can act as your data source. So here what I'm saying about the data, so it's initial storage. I'm not saying initial storage within database only, but only the initial storage in any format will be your data source. Okay? So then what is OLTP? What is OLTP?
It's a transactional system. It's like
The definition is correct. You are saying the definition is very correctly. But what is the practical usage? What is the practical thing which I can see out of
the day-to-day transaction we can
okay, day-to-day transaction, correct. The transactional system is also correct. The other thing which I can say for OLTP is it's the database only. Day-to-day means the current one, the updated one, the new one, the new data, the updated data, the current data. So OLTP is nothing but the current data. If I store my data in the database format, then it is nothing but the OLTP only, because my complete data is stored in the transactional system. That is nothing but the database. Okay? So if I am working in any of the organization, then I need a database to run that organization. So what does it mean? Because if I don't have any backend, so how can I think that my application, my business is going to be expand? Because I don't have any backend, I don't know where to store, how to store my data. So that thing is covered within OLTP. Okay? So what is OLAP? OLAP is nothing but the analysis which I can do on my collected data, which is OLTP. To expand the business, it is used to optimize. So analysis can be done with OLAP only. OLTP is for what? OLTP is for the just the collection of data in the which format? In the database. But if I'm storing my data in the data warehouse, then I'll say that it is my OLAP system. Okay, it's online analysis process. It's not transactional process. So what is the difference between these two? What is the difference?
In that OLTP actually we can use that current data. With that current data we can just do all those business logics and everything. But in OLAP we can store the historical data as well. From there we can take the
right. So the same thing I was saying, it's OLAP is up-to-date data, which is for database, and OLAP is nothing but the current plus the historical data, which comes under data warehouse. That's it. Okay, so this is the difference between database and data warehouse as well, and OLTP and OLAP also. There is one more definition or one more difference which you can say. Database is your normalized data. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Normalized. Yes, database. The data is in database only if it is normalized. You can say that. But within data warehouse, that is denormalized data. So what do you mean by denormalized?
Like denormalized mean we can split all those things like that. That star schema, like all those dimensions and facts. That is the denormalized design.
Okay. So if I want to explain my normalized and denormalized, how can I explain? It's normalized, and if I say this, denormalized. How can I explain these both? So normalized means a completely one-to-one relation. Can I say like this?
Yes.
Yes. Why one-to-one? Because if I have a list of columns, if I have a list of tables within my database, multiple tables within my database, and I have multiple columns within my table, so I can say that for each and every column, for each and every employee, if I'm saying about employees, for each and every employer, for each and every product of any company, that product must be unique. The details of that product must come only once. If I'm saying 101 is the ID of that employee, or let me write like this: EMP number is for the employee number and the name and the phone number. If I say, okay, so 101 is the name, is the number which is it is going to be not only, just a minute, it's, if I'm saying employee number and if I write here primary key, so what does it mean? It means that for each and every employee there must exist only one only one that prime only one employee number every time, because 101 and just a minute, 101, and after that say if 102 is coming, 103 is coming, and 104, that 10123 can't be repeat. That will be unique only. That employee number is unique, right? And for its name, let's say if it is ABC 1, and for this, if I say it is ABC 2, ABC 3, ABC 4, like this. Okay, and in the same manner, phone numbers are there. And after some time, that it's 103 is getting replaced with 105, or 103 is replaced with ABC 5. So how can I save this data? How can I save this data if it is normalized? And normalized is the second name for database, because my database will always be normalized. And the third name for that is OLTP, right? So these three terms we can use. So what I'm saying, if ABC5 is coming, or if ABC3 is just changing its name to ABC5, so for that what will happen? If it is normalized data, what will happen? That ABC3 will be, this data will be replaced with ABC5. So what will be the content of that particular table? For 103 it will be ABC5, not 103. So that this one is going to be this one, that 103 is going to be replaced with this one. But what if we are working in denormalized form? Same thing, the same thing I'll use, but it is within denormalized form. So EMP number, then name and phone number. Okay, 101 for ABC1, 102 for ABC2, and 103 for ABC3. Now after some time, as I said, 103 replaced its data, it's updated its data from ABC3 to ABC5. So what will happen? What will happen? That ABC5 will come over here at the place of at the place of this ABC 103. So this new column will not come in case of denormalized form. Or what I'm saying, did you understand? That 103 will be replaced with 105, but within denormalized form, what will happen? This will come over here and like this with a
Yes.
column name as, yes, this is the thing what will happen. 10, what will come?
5.
3. Why 5?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Yes, 103, only 103 will come. Okay, this is the thing what will happen if it is denormalized form. Because why 103 is coming 2 times? Why it is coming 2 times? Why it is not coming 1 time only? Here it is primary key, right? But did I have any condition, any constraint in denormalized primary key? No, we don't have such constraints within denormalized if it is data warehouse. We can directly store the data. We can have repeated employee number as my column. We can have any column, any of the columns if that can be repeated. Okay, so a new column is coming in case of denormalized, but in case of normalized, the same column is getting replaced with the new content. So I have only the updated data. I have only this data is removed now. So only 101, 102, 103 and 104 is present within my database as a normalized format, but in denormalized we don't have such things. We can have 101, 2, 3, 4 and again 3 with a new data. So if someone wants to get the details of 103, what all things will get in the reports? Two names will come, ABC3 and ABC4 or ABC5, this one, right? These two things will come for the same employee having the number as 103. So for ABC3, it will be stored as till which date the name is ABC3, till which date the name is ABC3, and after which date name is ABC5. Yes, this is the thing which we'll get with the denormalized format. Okay, and how I can get this 103 have two numbers till 103, it is on which date, on which time, after which date the name becomes ABC5. These things, just a minute. Yeah, these things will be done with the help of ETL tool only, that is informatica. I am going to extract the details of 103. I am going to make any transformation, I am going to make any changes if required on 103, and then I am going to load this 103 within my target database. So ETL is nothing but the tool which is going to help me. Okay, so complete ETL consists of three things: extraction, transformation and loading. So ETL process means three things are going to be done with the help of tool named as informatica. Okay, this is about the things. So very easy, these two definitions. So data warehouse is my what? It's an extension of database. How? Because data warehouse consists of current data. Current data means the database plus something which is historical data. Okay, so I can say that it is an extension of the database, that is database plus something else will make your data warehouse. So data warehouse is used for what? Can I use it for analysis purpose? Yeah, I can use. Can I use it for optimization? Yes, I can use, because I am optimizing my data, which is the best, which is the correct one, which is the required one. So summarize data, surely, because the reporting is there. Yes. Okay. And where we were terms in data warehouse, these two things I was explaining. So what is business data? The data present in data warehouse, I can call it as business data. So what is raw data? What is raw data?
Like the companies in the day-to-day life, the companies is producing the
data in database is a raw data.
Yes.
Data in database is raw data, and the business data is data in data warehouse, on which we are going to work as my source data for the reporting purpose, for the analysis purpose. Okay, so what is data warehouse? It's a very simple, it's a database that holds the historical data as well. So these two things are now important: data marts and data cubes. What do you mean by data mart?
It's like you write there, it's a subset of the data warehouse. It's a part,
It's a part of data warehouse, correct? If I say this is my company, this is the database.
Like in the schema, we are dividing all those part kind of things. So this is the schema concept, but the data mart is it's a part. Everything you will find in any parts, all those parts.
Okay, let me explain now. It's a company. It's a company with the front end, correct? this is nothing. Database with the backend. This thing, it's clear, right? So from the database, all the historical data I am going to store within my data warehouse, right? Which is database plus the historical data. This thing I'm explaining you from last 10 minutes, right? The same thing. Now the thing is, which I just said, what is data mart? Okay. So what is data mart? A part of data warehouse. The definition is the subset of data warehouse is my data mart. So data warehouse will contain the details of employees. Data warehouse will contain the details of the sales. Data warehouse will contain the details of the all the products which I have. It will have the details of the all the technical persons, the persons within sales, the persons who are working on the front end on my company's UI. So all these things are present within database, which is correct. But if I'm saying I want the details of the salespersons only, I want the details of the all the products only of any company out of the data warehouse. So that thing can be called as data mart. So data mart is a part of data warehouse, first thing. Second thing, data mart consists of all the details of any of the specific content of the complete data warehouse. So the details of all the products can be saved within one data mart of any of that specific product of that sales only. So data mart is for the specialization of any particular thing. Okay. So data mart is, if you read here, okay, where it is. So it is a subset of data warehouse that is for a kind of specialization in any one of the field, any one of the product, any one of the sales part or the persons who are within the technical part of that company. Okay. So what is a cube?
Cube holds actually that it is also a data we can say it's also a database,
Okay.
but it holds that analysis part actually. That.
Okay. So if this is my, okay, let's start from the database only. If this is my company's front end, and this is the back end, that means the database. So out of the database, I am able to create the data warehouse, correct? So within data warehouse, we have multiple data marts, which is again, we are done with this thing. How we can say that data marts are present. So for each and every mart, there is actually a thing which is cubes is present for that, which is nothing but the reference of data marts. Okay, so what I can say that cubes is the extension of data marts. As I was saying for data warehouse is the extension of database, means all the information of database plus something will make the data warehouse. And now I'll say that cubes contains all the references. Cubes will contain all the references of that data mart. Okay, so it is in more compressed manner the same data is present. More compressed means, see, if it is taking 10 GB of RAM, or no, not sorry, 10 GB, if it is taking 1 GB as a complete, which is for the complete data warehouse, so it will take 1/10. Data mart will be the 1/10 of that complete part of memory which it is taking. Okay, data mart will be 1/10 of the data warehouse. In the same manner, I can say that data cube will be 1/10 of data mart. One more thing I can say for cubes. Cube is what? Cube is not only a structure like this. It is a 3D structure. Am I right? It is a 3D structure.
Multi-dimensional. Yeah.
Yes, multi-dimensional storage will be there.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So 3 dimensions are there, 1, 2, and this is the third one. So 3 dimensions means it can store the result of 3 different dimensions if it is stored within in a single unit. Then I can say that it is data cube. So 3 dimensions means on 3 different types of data, it gives me the output, the response for 43 different types of data. Not only types, it means for the sales in the time in which time sales is maximum for which product. That thing can be, these 3 things can be done within a single cube. Okay, because it is for the multi-dimensional cube, or 3 dimensions it is showing. Okay, so the part of cube, a multiple cubes will contain the details, the list, the analysis on multiple data marts. Okay, and reports is very simple, it's for the analysis purpose.
Yeah.
Analysis I can do. Yeah, it's things are clear. The basics of data warehouse.
Yes.
Okay, it's very basic things actually. So, data warehouse architecture. What is the architecture for data warehouse? The complete flow is explained here. These are the sources. So, what can be the source?
Source can be anything like
Yes, any file. It can be text file.
Any file.
Right. It can be text file. It can be Excel file. This is not necessary that each and every company store its data within Oracle database only, within SQL Server only. That company can store its data within Excel file or within text file, or that company can also convert its data from SQL Server, from database to Excel. That is, I can say that from SQL to Excel, because within SQL we have this option to convert our data, to export our data to Excel format, right? So that company can store its data in any format. So that these all can be your source file. So from sources, what I am going to do, I am going to apply the ETL process. So ETL process means extraction, extraction, transformation, and loading. That all things are going to be done on these sources. Then I'm going to create our data warehouse, and on our data warehouse, reports will be generated. Reports. See the reporting. How reporting looks. OLAP is also showing over here. It's OLAP. Right, it's a graphical representation. For report, I can also say that it is nothing but the graphical representation, diagrammatical representation, how the flow is going, how my progress is there, how my delay of the production is there. That all things are actually explained with the data warehouse. Okay, so the last topic, it's for ETL. The thing which I'm explaining is extraction, transformation. Here it comes. So ETL is a process of extraction, means fetching the data from the sources. If I'm saying it is ETL, so I am fetching the data from the files, from the DBMS, from OLAP, OLTP, from any kind of source. I am going to fetch the data. That is, fetching means what? Fetching means the extraction from the heterogeneous sources, the variety of sources. Then I'm going to apply some transformation. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to make some conversions on the data which I have just selected as my sources. Then transformation, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to make any validation if it is required. What kind of validation I may need? What kind of validation can be done?
Validation can be, you can actually computer duplicate record.
Duplicates, okay.
Everything, like
Or
all kind of, let's say something in the data, there is something additional like space is there, or some symbols, some dot is there, underscore is there. You can remove all those things, you can clean it.
Or I can also write first name, like the full name I want, that can be first name plus the last name, that is concatenation. Or I can write that I can add the conversion, the validation as I just need those employees whose salary is greater than 10,000. Okay, or I can write the transformation as for each and every employee name, concatenate EMP name in front of its name. This is also one of the validation I can do. Or I can also write the validation as from int convert it to long So these all are the list. Int and long is what? These are the data types.
Yes.
These all are the data types which are present within transformation or which I can make. Okay. So in the end, loading comes after applying all these transformation, after making all these changes. What I
Yes.
can do, I can load my data within the target database. That can be again any file, that can be again any database, or I can also upload it to the server. Okay, so this is all the things which I can do within the ETL. Okay, and as part of reporting, it's very simple. From its diagram, it is also very much clear. Graphical representation, pie chart representation, and the how much growth is there, how much percentage of data is there. These are things. If I want to see, if I want to view my data in these format, that things comes under reporting only. Okay.
Yes.
So now about the tools. You were saying that Informatica is free tool or what? Informatica is commercial tool. A part of this is present as a free. We don't need to pay anything to Oracle for that, and the part of this is paid, but we don't need to work on that as well. We can work on the free version, the free part of Informatica, and it is going to uh, completely work on all our requirement. Okay, and Talent, Pentaho, these are the open sources which we have, and this is hybrid means um, hybrid actually means it's a completely different thing. We don't need to. It's not only for the ETL. It can also work for the BI only. Multiple purposes, like multiple things are there within hybrid tools. Not only for the BI, not only for ETL. Okay. And for Oracle, Oracle provides these three. I have listed the top three products by Oracle. And for the IBM, we have these two. For the SAS, we have these three. So the Informatica is the one in which I'm going to perform my complete things.
Yes.
Okay. And what is the tester role? What all things testers can do in ETL testing?
Yeah.
For ETL development is a different thing. ETL testing is a different thing. Firstly, we are going to develop the thing. Then we are going to test the thing. Developing, I just explained. What is the meaning of developing? Developing means I want to load my data from the source to the target with some transformation. And if I'm saying it's about testing, I want to test also. For that I can do count. How many details were there within source? Is this the same number of persons who are present with the target as well? That thing can be done with the count check. I can also check for the data type. I can also check for the how much data is transferred. Is this the correct one? What is the data type? And after applying some of the business rules, as I said, for the if I want in front of the name of each and every employee, EMP name must be concatenated. It must be added, like EMP name Priya, and in the same manner, EMP name Sunil, like this. Okay, so these things are comes under the business rules, which that company, which that organization is providing. Okay, and then authorization and authentication of the data can also be tested if it is correct for the correct user or not. That all things will be done with the help of ETL and with the help of tester only. Okay, and the reporting tool. We have multiple tools for reporting also. Okay, and I'm going to work on these two, W and IBM Cognos. These both are again, I'm going to work within trial period only. Okay, not for the trial versions we have, and I'm going to work on both. Okay, and what will be the complete flow of my training? This is also one of the thing. On the very first, I'm going to explain the complete basics of BI, basics of ETL, basics of reporting, and on the second and third day, I'm going to cover the queries part with the help of SQL Server Management Studio. And after that, I'm going to explain about the data warehouse basics, and it will be more clear with this. First is on introduction, then the database basics. After that, data warehouse basics, which are required. And then on day 6 onwards, I'm going to work on ETL tool, the Informatica, how it works, how we can convert, many things are there. Okay, and then a reporting part is also going to be covered after completing the ETL or after completing the Informatica. Okay,